All right, now in the course of the last day or so, here's one thing that should have happened. You should have worked on filling out this infographic survey where there were 10 questions that you expressed your opinion about, and you just pretty much mark them with an X and make your vote for what you feel like is the answer to the question. And hopefully by now it has been worked out that you have some results from these 10 questions. So now, with all of your Illustrator skills that you have developed, it's now time for you to produce some infographics based on the results of this survey that we took in this class. And the first thing that I'll do here to show you how this is going to work is I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to go to my Start button and go to Computer and get straight to Drive L, our courses drive. I'll go to Period 7. I'll go to Assignments, to Illustrator, and this is session number 10 through 12, 10, 11, 12, Infographic Survey Project. And I'm going to pull up this Infographic Project 2, this file right here. I'm going to take a peek at it. So here is the deal with this project. It's a 60-pointer, and you will use the data collected from our survey and construct three separate infographics. Let's talk about the requirements here real quickly. Each one were 20 points. Each infographic graded on accuracy, readability, and effort. All right, you want to be accurate with the numbers, make it nice and neat and readable, and put a little effort into it. The infographic indicators, and I'll show you more about that in just a minute, have to be constructed in Illustrator. All the response numbers from the survey have to be reported, meaning that whatever survey item you pick, you need to include all of the numbers that were part of that result. Graphics from the internet are allowed on this, but as decoration only, not really to report the data. You must complete 3 separate infographics. That would be 3 separate artboards to receive full credit. You can choose any of the 3 survey questions. So I don't want you to get the idea that you have to build an infographic about all 10 questions on that survey. That's not the case. You have to make 3, and you get to pick the 3 questions that you want to work with. Now, I do have a little extra deal for you. Infographics based on survey item number 1, 7, or 9 get 5 bonus points kind of automatically, because there's going to be more information, more data on those. They're going to require more work, and so 5 bonus points on those. That's on items number 1, 7, and 9. Infographics could be done in portrait or landscape orientation. When you're in Illustrator, you're going to start with File and New, and you could do it with the page up and down or sideways, whichever suits you the best. The survey, and I don't know if the sub will do this the way that it says here, but one way or another, you'll get the survey results. They could be on Drive L, and actually in the past I've put them on my website. They probably won't be on my website, so you might be handed a paper with the results, or they might be on Drive L where you can access them, but you'll get the results one way or another. Save your work with your with file names Infographic 1, Infographic 2, Infographic 3, and when these are all finished, you'll want to drag them and drop them into your Turn-In folder. A couple little tips for you here. You may want to stack things in a certain order, and so remember, you can click the object menu. If you have something selected, you can click the object menu, arrange, and then select the option you need, like bring to front, send to back. You can also do that by selecting an item and right-clicking it, and you'll get those same arrange options. You can kind of glue things together by grouping them. If you select all the parts of something and then go to the object menu and go to group, Control-G is a shortcut for that, and that will keep things kind of pieced together or glued together. Remember, making multiple copies of something is really helpful here. Even if you make a group, you can take the black arrow, Alt-drag the item that you built, and you'll have extra copies of it. And I'll show you a good example of that here in a minute. And then you can also line things up. If you select them all and use that control panel across the top, or you can use Window and Align, and you'll have all those same buttons inside that window. That's on the Window menu, and click Align, and then you'll get all those aligning and distributing buttons. Now I'm going to hop over here to Illustrator, and I want to show you mine. And I had to do mine based on last year's results, because at the time that I'm recording this movie, obviously the survey has not been done. So these are last year's results, 24 students surveyed. And on the Pop-Tart question, here's how it turned out. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that whole idea of alt dragging and making groups. These little Pop-Tarts that I created here are grouped together. They're just like rounded rectangles that have a little bit of blob brush on them. And if I zoom in real tight on them here, you can kind of see them a little bit better. There's some little bitty lines to be the sprinkles there. And I just made one of them. You'll notice they all look alike. So I just made one, and then I would just alt drag it whenever I needed another Pop-Tart. So that's going to make things you're just going to make life a lot easier for you if you do that kind of thing. And again, the idea behind an infographic is you represent the results of the survey by making these little graphic elements and then putting them in to represent the numbers. Like for s'mores, we had 6 people in that group say that was their favorite Pop-Tart. 6 people said brown sugar cinnamon, 4 for strawberry, 3 had some other, 3 said I don't eat them, and there was 1 person that said chocolate chip. All right, so that's kind of how that survey turned out. Here's my second example. I did the Big Bang Theory question. Each one of these little atoms here represents a vote, and again, I just did circles that are not filled in, and did some, and if I zoom in on that for you some, you can see them a little bit better. But I used some big black circles that weren't filled in, and then some smaller circles that have gradients on them, and then they're grouped together, and then I could alt drag them to make extra copies of them. And this is a time where I used the aligning feature here. I clicked on all of these, and you can also hold the shift key and click things. And then you can either use the aligning buttons up here on the control panel or go to Window, Align, and you'll get those same kind of buttons on that menu. So that's how our Big Bang Theory turned out. There was 1 person that said they hated it, and several that said they didn't watch it, but most people in that class said that they loved it. They liked the show. The last one that I did was the pizza vote that we did last year, and I have, I decided to show mine by slices of pizza, and it took a little bit of effort and time to draw these slices of pizza and get them just the way I wanted. And you don't have to do it that way. That's the beauty of infographics. You come up with a graphic way to show the results. But this is how ours turned out, and I decided to put a little box down here and put some text on top of it that shows what other pizza, this says other 8, and I wanted to show what other results there were like Frank's and Basbo's and Paisanos and Union Jacks and things like that. All right. So you work on 3 separate artboards, and you'll start each one with File and New. And right here is your orientation setting, either portrait or landscape. You can decide. All the other stuff doesn't matter. You just pick either portrait or landscape, click OK, and then you're off and running. So that's what the project is, taking the results of our survey that we did and constructing 3 different infographics based on those results. As I love to say, have at it.